easy, fellow geeks. Let's open a beverage of your choice. Because today is another episode of Terrifying Tuesdays, in which I show review a movie, which is in the collection of movies that my father left me. Well, it's actually my mother. She was not a big fan of horrors and all this stuff, and when he died, she said, "Do you want these?" And I said, "Who the hell are you asking?" Of course I do. These, you know. But anyway, this one is a Hammer movie. Taste the Blood of Dracula with Christopher Lee, which is one of the series of movies that he is best known for. I mean, this guy's was in more movies than there was movies, but this is one of his bigger roles. It's a Hammer film production. It came out in 19 something. But anyway, so okay, let's. He's back in one of his finest fang to flesh classics. It's a boys' night out. Time for body fun. Yet revelry can't alone satisfy those community leaders out on a lark. There's still an adventure they can be duped into trying, one that will transform a certain count from smoldering dust into blood-lusting flesh. Taste the Blood of Dracula, the fourth film in the Hammer Studios' cycle of hemoglobin Victorian-era horror, is a showcase of why Hammer has become the name in Gothic terror. The solid cast and rich production design raised goosebumps in the real-life fear and otherworld dread. Christopher Lee dons his red-lined cape again to become evil incarnate. He is Count Dracula, king, neither dead, being neither dead or alive, and his movies are livelier than ever. 95 minutes. Okay, so that really didn't give much of a recount of the cast or of the plot. So let's break it down for you. It starts out with a stagecoach going through the woods, and he's got 3 people in it. Got an older dude and this big kind of lumbering, lurky dude who not the sharpest light bulb in the spoon drawer, if you understand what I'm getting. And this other dude. And the other dude is a kind of a salesman type thing, and he's on his form. He realizes there's this kind of dumb, guy there, and he wants to try and apply his craft. And he has this little glass bauble type thing, and he's trying to sell it to him because he sees the guy really likes it. And he's like, okay, I've got, normally it costs this, and but I'll sell it to you for this. It sounds a lot cheaper. And the other dude's just like, no, you better just give it to him, dude. He's like, you don't put up with that shit. And he keeps trying, and he gets tossed out of the carriage. And it's nighttime or dusk and all that, and so he hears this horrible screaming and stuff. So he follows it, and then he goes and he sees Christopher Lee, Dracula, with some sort of big thing in his chest, and he's dying. So I'm assuming this is happening right at the end of the last movie, which I don't think I've seen. I'm not sure. But, and then he sees him die. He, you know, does the old fading away type thing, and his clothes, you know, some of his clothes disappear, but all that's left is the pendant that he's wearing, a few other things, and then this red kind of dust-like stuff. You know, like, say if you're going to get a, I don't know, like Metamucil or something like that, you take that stuff, it's this granular stuff, and you take it and you pour it in your drink and you mix it. It looks like that, but it's red. Not that I've ever taken Metamucil, but you understand what I'm getting at. And then then you get to the point where there's this kind of older British dude who's a lord, and you can tell he's kind of a bully and an asshole, and he's you know, with his wife and daughter at church, and he sees his young pretty daughter talking to a guy after church, and he's, you know, just saying, you know, no, we aren't doing this stuff, you know. And then he gets together with two other friends for their charity work, supposedly, which they do every Sunday night. And but he's not doing charity work. They go and get this. They go into this little back room where they're dance. They have all these dancers, and it's supposed to be pretty like racy, I guess, for the times. And they come across this one dude who is he was the son of this big lord who got disinherited. Not the lord, but the son was disinherited because he was practicing black masses at a church. And he knows other stuff. And these three, they want to know how to continue doing, get even more into this stuff and get more going. So they go talk to him, and they're like, okay, you know, what's up with this? And he goes, I know how to do this. So they take him to a little kind of a pawn shop, which is run by a dude from before. This is, you know, it's like this will help. And it turns out this guy has the blood, you know, the granular stuff of Dracula and a couple of other things like the pendant and all that. And he says, we get this, you buy this stuff, you can have all the pleasures you want forever. They agree to it until it comes to the point where he, you know, turns this stuff into actual blood and tells them to drink it. And stuff goes bad, and then Dracula finally gets back. And then they're dealing with Dracula. So that's the point of, you know, taste the blood of Dracula, because one of them actually drinks it. And, you know, so most of the movie, none of the movie really centers around Dracula. He's in it, and I think a lot of you may have, excuse me, know about how he felt about some of the Dracula stuff. And like one movie, he refused to even talk in it because the dialogue was pretty bad. He talks in this one, but not much. There's about like less than 10 lines that he uses. But at this point, they've pretty much, you know, made it so he's not exactly a you know, he's not exactly a verbose type of guy. He's more action and stuff. But he is, at this point, going after the guys who he perceived did him wrong. That was the three dudes. And he's going after them, but also taking, you know, they've all three got good-looking daughters, and so he turns them into his slaves. So it's the typical, you know, older movies like that where he's probably paying a little bit more attention to the hot chicks in low dress, low cut dresses, than actually going after the dudes and killing them like he supposedly wants to. But we all understand how that that's just the formula of these types of movies. But this one is your typical Hammer movie. It's got the drama. It's got the sensuality with the hot chicks. Lots of blood. Because from what I understand, the Hammer movies were the first vampire Dracula movies where they actually showed Dracula with fangs. Because they didn't have it in the Bela Lugosi ones. Some of the other ones they did. Like the American Universal ones, they never showed him with fangs. So I think that, from what I understand, the Hammer movies were the first ones to show him actually with fangs, and they have the bright red blood and everything. So this thing is all the production design, all the just this beautifully shot cinematic shots of stuff. This movie lives up to it. The acting is really good. The story is the story. It's just flat out awesomeness with Christopher Lee. You're doing being Dracula with the poses and the getting his point across. Like he'll close up of him, and that's him hypnotizing the girls and doing the biting and being vicious when he needs to, and like one of the things I think they do is they have him telling the other people to do the stuff for him because he's too good, he's too regal, he's too much of a superior being to do this stuff himself, and he can just provide menace with like one line or one word. Like one of the lines in there is one of the lines in there was one. It's either one or first. And you're talking about of the three guys. And that's it. And he's just got that look and there's a menace about him when he says that. So he can do a lot with just a single word. You get the looks, you get the way he holds himself, the tone of voice, and then even with when he's hypnotizing the girls or the people, he's got that look which you saw Bela Lugosi doing it a couple times in the old Universals, but Christopher Lee takes it to a whole another level, like they did in I think it was Key and Peele. It takes a whole another level, and I think that's one of the things that makes these movies so good, even when some of them aren't super exceptional. They're all really good, but just the way Christopher Lee portrays the characters, his regalness, his viciousness, his power, and then you have all these other really kind of good actors in there that are just it's them being the characters trying to catch up to go up against the powerful Dracula, and then you have the actors who are good trying to maintain and hold up to Christopher Lee's presence. So it's kind of a dual thing. They're always trying to bat above their heads, and so that's what's really fun about these movies. And they're just grade A fun, and I can't say that this isn't one of them. This is one of them. It's just one of the ones where you're just like, this is so awesome. It's good. It deserves all its reputations for being you know, an incredible cult classic because it is. The acting is fantastic. It's shot beautifully. The characterizations are pretty good. You know, there's a couple things that you're looking back at it now, and you know, what is it, 2025, going, yeah, okay, but you know, come on, this was what, the 50s, 60s, you know, so yeah, and then set is quite a bit of time before that. So yeah, I mean, this is just fantastic. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 because it's incredible. Watch them. If you have any chance to watch the old Hammer horror movies, especially the Dracula ones, get them. But anyway, let me know if you've watched them. Let me know what you thought of them in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and most of all, enjoy your horror movies.